there, it's Goji, it's your boy Jasper. Welcome back to another epic video with your boy reacting to things. Now right here we got the Kraken, a new Titan explained. Apparently this Titan was found in the new Kong series, Skull Island. I'm literally gonna watch it right now when I'm done with this video, because apparently somebody told me this Goji sent a video made by your boy Goji. Like I said, I'm about to say made by your boy Goji. I'll put him on the screen right now so you can see him. Subscribe to my man if you like kaiju's, horror, blood, and whatnot, kaiju battles, whatnot. Just go to the man's channel. He's epic. Let's get in this video.
What you see right here, ladies and gents, is the reveal of a brand new MonsterVerse Titan.
No, hold up. I got a rewind. You know I got a rewind.
What you see right here, ladies and gents, is the reveal of a brand new...
Nah, see, that brand new Titan, that man looks creepy. Like, these hairy things kind of make him look like a spider, and then his whole entire head is so long, man looks like a reverse version of Squidward.
MonsterVerse Titan. That's right. Today on Goji Center, we'll delve further into the characteristics of this new kaiju revealed in Netflix's Skull Island.
Spoilers ahead if you did not
weapons,
watch it yet.
body attributes, intelligence, and even some of its dark characteristics that make it one of the most unique Titans in the MonsterVerse.
Woo!
If you love to learn about monsters, dinosaurs, and more, then don't just sit there, man. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, and get ready to meet the new MonsterVerse kaiju, the Kraken. This episode will be divided into 3 parts. The first, discussing this animal's physical appearance and weapons. Second, discussing where this animal came from. And lastly, we will talk about the Kraken's dark personality. Right now, we'll start with number 1, corporal attributes.
Corporal attributes.
The Kraken, yes, that's what it's now officially called, is a monster of gigantic proportions that dwarfed Kong at the time in terms of...
You know, I was gonna pause because I already saw the size difference, and now my man Goji already says that dwarfed Kong. He obviously dwarfed Kong. Did you see the last clip?
Right now, we'll start with number 1, corporal attributes. The Kraken, yes, that's what it's now officially called, is a monster of gigantic proportions that dwarfed Kong at...
Look at this! Is that how big my man is? Okay, what version of Kong is this? Is this like the 1970-something version we saw in the movie? Or... is this full adult Kong? I don't know when
the time in terms of mass, but how big is it?
Exactly.
To find out, we must first note that this show is officially stated to take place in 1993. That's 2 years before the events of Skull Island, Birth of Kong, where this fella was approximately 200 feet or so in height. So, around this time, Kong was probably 180 to 190 feet in height,
still big,
meaning that this monster, if compared to Kong, could have been reaching heights of more than 300 feet standing straight in this particular posture.
Looks like a mermaid.
Lengthwise, however, this animal would have been much more massive thanks to its tentacles and tail, measuring anywhere between 6 to...
I can tell you, 600 to 700 feet! Or literally 183 to 213 meters. You've got to be kidding me. How many tentacles does this thing have? Look here, it's got one set of tentacles from a different species, another tentacle from a different species, another tentacle of different species. How many tentacles does this thing even have?
700 feet in length. Measuring this animal's length is a bit difficult due to some of the attributes we are about to discuss. There are around 4 segments to this animal to focus on. We see here that this animal seems to be a mishmash of several different creatures. A cephalopod-like titan with crustacean attributes seen in these massive pincers similar to those of a crab. These have sharp tips capable of piercing, stabbing, and are strong enough to get a hold of other kaiju such as Kong. We continue on to its 3 distinct sets of tentacles, each with unique abilities. The first set of tentacles seems to be the longest, even more so since it seems like these have elastic properties, allowing this animal to stretch its tentacles to extremely long distances, much further than the length of its overall body. This does not
So it has an
end
unlimited
here.
stretchability.
These tips, as seen in this clip, have the ability to follow smaller organisms even if the squid's eyes are not locked in on the target. This leads us to believe that these particular tentacles are equipped with sensors which seek and follow sources of heat or detect movement that takes the form of stress, heartbeats, or vibrations or sound. We're still not done yet. These are also venomous and can inflict electric shocks. The energy emitted will most likely depend on the target, since we saw that this fella was struck by these tentacles, but not struck by the amount of energy that was inflicted on Kong.
Oh, yeah, he would have
been dead. If this guy was hit by this much energy, this dude would have been burned to a crisp.
Oh, he's
Therefore,
already
it's safe to
almost
assume
turned
that
into a
this
crisp. My man
Kraken would
could have
actively
been
regulate
KFC.
the amounts of energy released to each target, since there was really no real reason to shock this dude with as much energy as Kong. The next two set of tentacles are similar in that they provide brute strength, extra appendages, except this set here is a bit longer,
like a hook.
providing
You see
both
the one
reach
with the
and
yellow
brute
things
strength,
here? It's
while
like a
this
hook.
medium set serves as auxiliary tentacles for close range. These tentacles are also bioluminescent, emitting patterns of light in the form of small dots, elaborate patterns on its tentacles which serve to communicate messages to other creatures, similar to the G-Man with his intimidation display. Moving down to its lower part of the build of this Titan, we see that this animal has an elongated body similar to that of a large fish, except the orientation of the tail is horizontal, similar to that of a whale. This tail provides massive amounts of locomotion power to the Kraken, allowing it to move and propel itself more efficiently through the deep waters. Moving up, we find that this animal has an elongated head equipped with a sharp-toothed beak.
Is he like his
This
own
beak
species
can
or is he a
bite hard,
breed?
piercing
Because
through
why is
layers
there
of
so
fur,
many?
fat, and muscle.
Is he man-made or
Teeth
what?
and serrated edges along the beak allow this to not only slice, but also grip prey. In addition to that, this animal has 4 eyes which glow in the dark, allowing not 2, but a total of 4 overlapping fields of vision over a vast area, which is helpful in the open sea given that threats can come from almost any direction. Gills line the side of this animal's head, suggesting that this animal can breathe underwater as well as on the surface.
Oh, so you can fight
this thing
Kong
stays
on
on the
land
surface
and
of the
on
water for
sea.
prolonged
Nice, he's
periods
like
of time,
Godzilla.
meaning that this animal could
With
also
Godzilla's
breathe.
gills, except he's got
A similar
blowholes in him.
anatomical adaptation is seen in the G-Man himself,
Just say
capable of
that.
breathing on both land and sea. The result is a formidable sea titan that can challenge an alpha kaiju.
Yeah, but
but
this alpha
there is
kaiju
more to
wasn't
this
even
animal
full
than just
adult yet.
tentacles, claws,
And
and
he stole
beaks.
one,
It
I
is
think.
now time to
Yeah, he
figure
had
out
to be,
where
right?
this titan came from. In episode 7, we were introduced to a village of people who were shipwrecked on Skull Island.
I was about to
These
say the
people,
Eelies, but
along
no,
with
right?
this girl, were coexisting with Kong, who they saw as the king of this place. After a bloody encounter with these chameleon-like lizards, Kong went to wash his wounds at
Call that a
sea.
chameleon?
Little did he know that
Man,
he
those things are so
unwillingly
small.
woke up a monster that was dormant outside the shores of Skull Island.
The blood of Kong
Kraken.
broke that thing.
Now, where was this monster during the events of 1973,
I was
a whole
just
20
thinking
years
that.
earlier?
I was thinking of the
In
first
this
thing
show,
when I
the
saw the
Kraken
video.
was pretty intolerant of any vessels or aircraft that would fly into Skull Island past its watery territory. So why didn't it bring these helicopters down 20 years earlier?
Exactly.
It's possible that during these events, there actually was a Kraken sleeping outside Skull Island this
Then
whole
why didn't you
time.
wake up?
But it took something special to wake it up. The blood of another kaiju. But this doesn't explain where this animal originally came from. In the show, it was already theorized that Skull Island was in fact a biome that erupted from the depths of the Hollow
I can't
Earth.
stop listening.
Everything from vegetation to organisms, possibly
Oh, wait, the
including
Skullcrawlers
the
in the series
Kraken.
too? They're
We've
nice.
seen other creatures come up from the Hollow Earth as well, such
They
as
are bad, but
Skullcrawlers, the
the
murder
OG
fish
Kong
mentioned in
villain.
Godzilla Dominion,
Okay, with the
Kamazots,
T-Rex,
etc.
OG Kong villain.
So
This is
this
Monster
animal
Kong,
was
it's
probably
okay.
one of many that rose to the surface during any period of time before 1973. It was when it awoke when it started causing trouble, bringing us to part 3, the dark side of this kaiju. Real quick, this is another reminder to subscribe to Goji Shorts. If you are not, you're serious.
That reminds me, Goji-san has another channel called Goji Shorts. I put you on the screen right now so you can see him, beautiful 3D animations and jump scares, whatnot. Just subscribe to him, man. He's done so much hard work in his content.
Seriously missing out on these cool 3D animations showcasing kaiju and dinos. We've even got Bloop in here, dude.
Bloop!
Okay,
I gotta
back
watch
to the
it now.
video.
Yeah, I
If
gotta
you
watch
saw
it
the
now.
show, chances are that you will have already determined that this monster is of malevolent nature. Monsterverse Titans are usually labeled in 2 groups, malevolent or mostly benevolent. An animal that will go ahead and murder an entire village, pick on individual humans, go out of its way and spend tons of energy harassing small creatures that aren't worth the caloric intake, and blatantly disrespect another big kaiju is a big indicator that this Kraken was indeed malevolent. And yes, this thing was the animal that wiped out these people who peacefully coexisted with Kong and the one who killed his friend. Because Kong is an alpha kaiju, this Kraken had had reason to lure Kong into fighting in shallow water. A battleground that was compatible with both kaiju, both the Kraken and Kong. And if this thing was ever going to become the ruling force in this island, the Kraken had to take out Kong.
Which is impossible.
The Kraken has been seen to display taunting behavior. What you see here is this Titan's attempt at provoking Kong to come out and fight. Kong refused, knowing that the water was not a favorable place to go out and fight this monster. But perhaps another or the best example of how ruthless this thing was is this. Yeah, it takes a special type of psychotic monster.
Hold up, is that a whale?
But perhaps another or the best example of how ruthless this thing was is this. Yeah,
it's a whale!
It takes a special type of psychotic monster to grab innocent creatures and hurl them in extremely long distances, exactly where Kong currently lives. It's possible that over time, this animal would have picked random creatures of the island, killing them one by one in an attempt to get Kong to sally out and fight away from the safety of dry land. Apart from being a complete asshole, this Kraken also likes to fight dirty, ambushing Kong without prior notice, throwing him into deep water, and pinning him down to drown. Admittedly, this animal has all the tools necessary to have an almost unfair advantage. Fortunately for Kong, Skull Island is filled to the brim with wreckage, allowing him to once again use this to fight off the Kraken. This animal finally met his end at the hands of Kong. But even so, the real scars inflicted on Kong were not flesh wounds, but the loss of loved ones. As we can see, Kraken did not just fight at a physical level, but an emotional level as well, making this animal one of the most fleshed out and complete villains seen so far in the Monsterverse. Will there be another Titan that will outdo this animal in terms of evil nature? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Yep, we shall see him in the next episode. Yep, we officially have come to an end of our video. If you want to see more of Goji Center videos, make sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button if you haven't. And I will go see you in the next video. I love you. Goodbye. Peace.